Today I'm trying my hand at Lino-Cut printing. But I'm not going to use these hard-to-cut lino squares. Instead, I'm going to use the Easy Cut lino from above ground, and I'll be making my prints using Speedball ink. Let's see how it goes. I started by drawing my toucan in Clip Studio. I opted for a very clean graphic look, thinking that that would make it much easier to actually carve out the tile. The next step was to flip the image and then cut it out. Because of the amount of negative space in the design, I opted to add a border, hoping that that would make it a cleaner print. I cut the image the same size as the tile, so it would be easier to line up. And then I used graphite paper to trace the image onto the tile. I used a blue ballpoint pen so I could see what I was tracing, with my lines being a different color from the black image. I'll speed this up and we'll just fly through this part. After the image was transferred to the tile, I took a black Sharpie and colored in all the areas of the design that were going to remain black when I printed it. That way, it was easy to see what I needed to cut away. And in my mind, so I didn't get confused, all I had to think of was green meant go, and I would remove all the green areas. I started by using a small V tool to outline the image, thinking that that would create a stop cut. When I was removing the background, it would stop where I had already removed some of the tile. I didn't really like carving with these tools. They have multiple blades that fit in. I found that it was a little bit difficult and the V was a little bit small. I happen to have this set of wood carving tools, which they worked like a dream. It turns out I used the round gouge for almost the entire tile. I made sure with removing the background that I did all my cuts in the same direction. That way, if anything did show in the printing process, it would look nice and neat and sort of planned. Whereas if the cuts went in every direction, it would just look messy. And this is where I went back and tried to remove even more of the background, which if I were doing it again, I wouldn't bother doing. Because I think with Lino-Cut, the beauty is in the imperfections, in the cuts, in the textures that the printing process will provide. To print, you need your ink, a brayer, not that kind of brayer, and a smooth surface to roll the ink on. I used a glass cutting board that I found at the dollar store. Once the ink was spread out smooth, I rolled it onto the tile. Once you have a smooth layer of ink on the tile, you can carefully place the paper on the tile. I pre-cut the paper to the right size so that it would be easy to line up with the tile. Smooth the paper out with your hand at first and then use a clean brayer to add pressure and roll it on the design to transfer the ink to the paper. I tried several different passes at trying to print this toucan, and eventually I decided that it was easier to just put the tile on the ink rather than the ink on the tile. So I would roll out the ink nice and smooth on the glass board, and then I'd carefully place the tile on the ink, rub the back of it, carefully lift it up, put it down, and then apply the paper to the tile. And I found that that worked best. I also used slow dry blending medium, a little bit of that in with the ink, and it made it flow really well without watering it down too much. I also used thinner paper, and that's how I got the best prints. You can support my channel by subscribing so YouTube will share my videos with more people. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I post a video. Thank you for watching.